Hi, I'm Lindsay with World Fight Products, and today I'm here with former IKA World Champion and Chief BJJ instructor Shah Franco. Shah, with the recent increased popularity of MMA, are you surprised at the volume of workshops and seminars being run?
I'm not surprised at all. I think it's wonderful how the sport has just exploded, and this kind of thing is happening over and over again. There's a lot of information for everybody to go through, so the more workshops, the more clinics that we have, the more that the experienced guys can give information to the less experienced guys. I think it's great.
Do you think things will increase further, or will MMA be seen as a fad and see students reverting back to the more traditional martial arts?
I don't think MMA is a fad. First, I think it's the oldest sport. It's the most natural sport. You see two little kids on the playground. They start pushing each other to see who's who and who has what. I think it's just going to get bigger and bigger. And if you can go back to Roman times and the gladiators, it's going to get that big that these guys are going to be the #1 sport heroes in the world. You're going to see the guy who can control the heavyweight division, the super heavyweight division. He's going to become an icon in the world. And, you know, I think a lot of these guys are really intelligent guys, so they're going to end up getting into positions off of this fame, off of this notoriety, that they'll push this sport politically, and I think it's just going to get better and better.
What sort of percentage increase, if any, have you seen coming through the doors at Shah Franco Martial Arts since mainstream broadcasts of the UFC?
Well, we've always had a steady stream. I don't do any advertising at my club. I use word of mouth, and we do have a local presence in our club. But we are seeing a lot of kids coming in wanting to be MMA stars. I don't think they know how much work there really is involved to be an MMA star, but yeah, we are seeing that.
How did your affiliation with Silvio Behring come about, and what's on the horizon for Franco and Behring?
Silvio Behring, I consider one of my best friends. We've met years ago. He became my professor in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and we have an ongoing joke that he saved my martial arts life because things were getting a little stale. Silvio came along, showed us the methodology of the groundwork, not just individual moves, but a real sort of learning methodology for our students, and we've stuck with it, and I thank him for a lot of the stuff that we have now. He's one of the best BJJ instructors on the planet. His father is the #1 BJJ instructor on the planet, I believe, Flavio Behring, and I'd like to just always mention Silvio Behring, #1 Silvio Behring.
Recently you coached Rob Maximus McDonald to a Ring of Fire world title. Are you still involved with him, and what are his plans next?
Well, Rob is fighting, I believe, Hardcore Championship, 29th of March, 2008. That's coming up pretty soon. And he's training right now in Utah. He works for Jim Jones, a training company that trains movie stars and big sports stars. And he's upped his training. And he'll be coming back for about 4 weeks to train with me and the crew that we have here. But he took an opportunity in the United States, and that's where the game's actually played. As you know, Ontario is a place where they don't allow us to ply our trade legally.
Any other names that we should keep our ears open for coming from your gym?
I think there's a couple good kids coming out of the gym. Matt McDonald, who's also a training partner of Rob McDonald, is probably the guy you want to watch. He's got knockout power in both hands. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, coming up to black belt level. He's wrestled before, and he's built like he's built.
You frequently travel to Japan and Brazil. The mindset of the general public regarding fighters there is one of respect and honor. How do you feel it differs in North America?
I think North Americans are making a big deal out of that question. I get that question a lot. Well, what kind of respect level? And the answer I give is, in any sort of pursuit in life, there's a pecking order. When you go into any pursuit in life, there's the guys that have been there, and I think a lot of the trainers and the guys who are helping and have the gyms are a little older than the young guys, and they've come through a traditional martial arts background, so they were sort of indoctrinated in this very classical, almost spiritual, respectful kind of mentality from the time they're younger, and I think it sort of translates and waters down to the MMA guys. You see guys have bad blood, and then at the end of the fight they go, okay, it's over, you're the better man, and they move on. So I think the respect level in the ring for the fighters is just as high in Brazil as it is in Japan, but I think the respect level from the general public is not as high as it is in Japan.
The whole issue of legal, illegal, sanctioned, and unsanctioned in Ontario. Will this ever be resolved, and if so, what time frame can we expect it?
It will never be resolved. It's actually, I just read an article in the Toronto Sun, and Ken Hayashi cites that it's a federal law that's interpreted, I think it's 83, is interpreted by the Quebec Commission as being allowable the MMA. I think Ken is trying to, number one, protect his position as a sports commissioner, which would make sense to anybody. Protect your job. Number two, I think he honestly really believes that this is an illegal activity on a federal level, and that if he sanctions stuff and things go wrong, he's liable as a sports commissioner. So I think he's not gonna help the sport at all. He's not helped any sport. No sports can.
There's been much published of current athletic commissioner Ken Hayashi disdain for boxing and kickboxing. Is it time for some new faces in the head office?
Okay, I have a good question. I have a couple I have a couple issues. As Ken got into the sports commission's position, or the commissioner position, which means he's a sports commissioner for every sport participated in Ontario, not just combat sports. So he has a huge province to look over, but he tends to spend all his time aiming it at combat sports. Now, this could be policy because we have free healthcare in Ontario, which means that if anybody gets injured, he's going to have to. The government's going to pay for that and take care of that person. But the other sports that are out, the stats that they have, I mean, people are getting injured in every sport. I think Ken has a personal sort of view against MMA. I think he's a traditional karate guy. I'm a traditional karate guy. That's how I grew up. And I think he's going to just go to the letter of the law, and it has to be changed on a federal level. There has to be some sort of vote on it to change the law at a parliament level.
Have you ever considered yourself in the sports politics role?
No. I like being in the gym. I like training fighters. I like going to the fights. I like the science of it more than anything else. So all the politics and stuff, I'm not going to get involved, because that tends to be the people that like to do that kind of thing, and that's not me.
Thanks for taking the time to talk with us at World Fight Products. For more information and location details regarding Professor Franco, visit.
You can email me at Shah, SHAH _ Franco, FRANCO @ hotmail.com.